mind, and soul. Discover the latest interior design trends to create your dream sanctuary. Unlock your true potential with personal growth strategies. Nourish your body and spirit with expert wellness tips. Don't miss out on the inspiration you need to live your best life. Tune in to the Design Studio this and every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. and take the first step towards a more fulfilling you.
Make me sweat, make me harder.
None of mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking them.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio. My team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Something big is brewing, and the excitement is marinating. A thrilling event will unfold that will have everyone cheering this Christmas. Talents will gather with their knives and prepare themselves for battle. When the dust settles, only one will be left standing to tell the tale. What's at stake? Who will rise and who will falter? You have no idea what's coming next. All your questions will be answered only if you keep your ears tuned to Nationwide 90 FM. This is going to be epic.
Missing.
Good evening, Jamaica, and welcome to another edition of the A-Team Radio Show right here on Nationwide 90 FM. You're listening to the voice of Damon Scarlett. Tonight, we are getting back into the groove of the academic learning. I was about to say academic learning protocol, but we're back into the classroom. I know that we were trying to get the students settled in with the new academic term, and we are kickstarting things because we know that the external exams are going to be coming up in just a very short while. By the time you blink your eye, you realize it's time for CXC and CAPE again. But this evening, we are going to be focusing on additional mathematics. Some of you call it ADMAT. Now, it's interesting because our program is geared towards helping our high schoolers to get ready for the exam. So we do go through the syllabuses in on this show, and so tonight we have one of Jamaica's best, and one thing with the A-Team, we try to bring persons on air who will help our students to get the best results possible. My guest this evening is Damian Chippy from Chippy's Tutoring Services, and widely known for physics and principles of business and accounts and mathematics. And tonight we're going to be looking at ADMAT. Now, listeners, viewers, you're going to have to bear with me, because this topic requires me to do some critical thinking. So as I mentioned tonight, our guest is Damian Chippy. We're going to be looking at ADMAT, and this is a course that helps our students to reason logically, and of course they need to have the prerequisite of CXC mathematics. So we're going to talk about that. And how are you doing now, Damian?
Not bad at all. I was listening to you in regards to the prerequisite mathematics. The truth is, a lot of my students, and I know students elsewhere too, some of them are doing both
at the same time.
CSEC maths.
Oh, wow.
And the ADMAT, additional mathematics. And yes, it will be one would think that in hindsight, it
Yes.
would be better that they had a prerequisite as the mathematics first. But truth is that I've been doing this with students doing two of them simultaneously.
Oh, there's those are brilliant students. Right, and one of the things though is that why ADMAT? Why did they feel the need to create such a curriculum for students?
The truth is there is a wide gap between the CSET maths
Yes.
and the pure mathematics. So therefore, students who even got grade 1 with all a profile, happily jumping around, say, okay, they're good at maths and all of that, and divulge in pure mathematics. And they realize that it's a different ball game. Yes, I mean, so therefore, and in many cases, sometimes if they're not guided properly, they are easily turned off and probably want to opt out. But there's a gap. There's a huge gap. So you see, additional mathematics, ADMATs per se,
Yes.
tend to narrow such a gap, so that students, 'cause it's very good. It's very good to. It's a good balance between CSET mathematics and pure mathematics. Yes. So that is it. How it is.
All right, and so we're going to be learning about that kind of structure. And one of the things that I realize when people do mathematics, because you have gifted persons who they're into figures, they're into numbers, right? But can you use ADMATs as certificate to, turn in real life problems into mathematical form, or to address real life problems? Then
As it is now, Damien, you're using maths to address the problem here. The problem
Okay.
that we're having
Yes.
is the problem that we want to solve is to be able to broadcast the whole knowledge of ADMATs. How we're going to do that?
Interesting.
You have the controller there with the various frequencies that people have to go on to listen to us. So there's a lot of mathematics taking place in order to broadcast this evening's show.
Wow. I want you can break that down and give it more for me, because that's just mind blowing. I never really thought about it from that perspective. So it's almost as if you're saying that in everything that we do
Yes.
in life, there's some kind of mathematical form there.
Everything that you can think of,
Yes.
there is mathematics around you. You live, you breathe, you sleep mathematics. You're so good at it that you do it without even realizing that you're doing it. It's
Wow.
a part of our being, it's a part of a living thing. You understand? Because even animals, insects, they indulge in mathematical activities on a daily basis.
Right. Wow. Listeners, this is just really interesting because here it is that, and it's funny because when you look at any subject that you do, it does prepare you for life. When I was growing up, I used to have a very hard time with math. I used to tell myself that math is not my thing. And then when I see people doing now their major in mathematics, I was like, wow, power to you, because you guys have the knowledge and the knack for it. But let's go to the aspects of the syllabus. When we talk about ADMATs, what are some of the components that the students are exposed to?
All right. Presently, the additional mathematics syllabus, the CSEC additional mathematics syllabus, is in 4 different sections. You have section 1 that deals with algebra, sequence, and series. Now, algebra further is broken down into various other topics. Polynomials, quadratics, simultaneous equation, talk about factorizing, roots of equation, logarithm, indices,
Right.
surds. All of those are compounded in section 1, especially algebra component.
Right.
Inequalities, functions,
Right.
and then we have the sequence and series to contend with.
You had mentioned
1.
vectors.
Vector, we soon got,
so get it.
that's a different section. What I'm speaking of so far is section 1. In section 2, we have coordinate geometry. I mean, it really surrounds equation of a circle. Then we have vectors, and then we have trigonometry in section 2. In section 3, we have the introduction of calculus. And when we say the introduction of calculus, it's under 2 major topics, which is differentiation and integration. And then we have section 4 that deals with probability and statistic. Now, I realized 6C had not mentioned kinematics because that used to be another section. In fact, probability and statistics used to go along with kinematics. All right, but my thing is it's on the syllabus just the same.
Right.
All right.
And is that to help them to like analyze data?
The analysis of data really comes heavily on the probability and statistics.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But kinematics is not a branch of like it taking more of calculus as well. Motion of a particle, all of that. The displacement covered, distance covered, velocity, acceleration, and so forth.
It almost to me sounds like there's a little physics.
Oh yes,
physics
because physics also has to do with maths as well. Yes, the science, by the way, as I said, maths is involved in everything.
Right. Right. So, thanks for that. So, we're getting an idea of what the syllabus, the component of the syllabus looks like. And when we come back, we're going to just go into a few specifics. This is the A-Team Radio Show, and when we come back, much more from our special guest tonight, Damien Chippy Sunko.
And you now go get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse. I eat you off the choke. If I see them, I hold your red and big tonight. You puke, we look and say, book. If you pressure on your book, if you're not no education, people treat you like a book.
You've weathered the storm, but rebuilding and preparing for back to school have taken a toll. It's time to get some money in your pocket. At Chris and Charles, we understand your financial needs. With just a quick call, you can access funds to catch up on bills and cover unexpected expenses. Our process is fast, simple, with funds deposited in your account in no time. Don't stress, get money in your pocket. Call 876-926-0609 or visit our website today. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
It's undeniable that we should be together.
The true beauty of music is that it connects people. It carries a message. It speaks to you. It changes you. And that's exactly what we do just for you every Sunday as we take you to Urban Paradise, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Urban Paradise is our weekly musical journey that will serve up 110 glorious minutes of positive storytelling through music, mixed in with inspirational features to provoke thought and to heal the soul.
Like a dream come true, just wanna be with you.
So join me, Diane Ashton Smith, this and every Sunday, 9:10 a.m. to 11 a.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. Urban Paradise, opening our hearts, connecting to others.
Me sing, and if you pressure on no book, you're illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook. And you now go get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse, I eat you off the choke. If I see them
Welcome back to the A-Team radio show. This is Damon Scarlett sitting in for Dennis Brooks. Tonight we're focusing on additional mathematics, ADMATS, as we might know it as. My guest this evening is Damien Chippy. And just before the break, we were just getting a little introduction in terms of what this subject is about, the course is about, and a breakdown of the component of the syllabus. And we were learning some of the terms there, and one of the things we said that math is a part of us, is a part of life, all that we do
Everyday life.
everyday life, you know. So if you think you're going to run away from maths in high school, well, guess again, because our guest tonight is going to putting it into context for us. And we also have pure mathematics, right? So if you could just give me the difference between pure math and ADMATS.
So, as I tell you, like ADMATS is like the middle ground between CSEP maths and pure mathematics.
Okay.
Now, pure maths now is the more advanced version. So while it has similar topics in ADMATS, but it go more in advance, like ADMATS start with Introduction to Calculus. Module 3 in pure maths, Unit 1, that is, it take on calculus in Module 3. And it add to that calculus, it talk about limits as well. All right, so pure ADMATS doesn't consist of limits, and this is in Module 3 of Unit 1, pure mathematics. Now, in Module 1 now, yes, algebra, but you take it on in a more advanced. They do additional thing, logics and reasoning, number theory, talk about mathematical induction, you understand me, functions, inequality, modulus, quadratics as well, polynomial, cubic equations, all of those as well. Unit 1 to count. So, but although these are similar topic in ADMATS, they go up a notch in pure maths.
Okay.
You understand me? Yes. And likewise for module 2, similar to section 2 of ADMATS, where we talk about trigonometry, vectors, and geometry. It's just that in pure maths, it's more advanced.
Oh, so you're looking at like matrices and those things?
No, well, that's for Unit 2 in pure maths. You understand me? But so now, like ADMATS unit, pure maths Unit 1 is kind of mirror ADMATS, but it's just more advanced.
Okay. Right. All these mathematical terms are getting me confused. But we're going to go to the breakdown of the exam in terms of the structure of the examination for ADMATS. But what I want for you to just to share with us is that how important is it for us as students to be able to think logically and critically? Because as they are working on some of these problems, that in a sense that's what it's doing. You know, and if you don't approach it with the right formula or strategy, then you might think you arrive at the right answer, but it's not.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, one of the things I start off with my students, I always tell them that, look, you have to get into the habit of manipulating. And I say, sir, what? Manipulating? Because again, you know, in English language, I will tell you that manipulation is a negative word.
Right.
You understand me? But I always counter them with that. I said, no, it's not. Because we have to manipulate in order to solve problems. You understand me? And if you cannot manipulate situation, you solving a problem become even more challenging. Because the problem now gonna come into you the form that you're familiar with and all of that. You have to now use information that you have, even from elementary form, come right up in assisting you to navigate your way of solving the problem, manipulating the problem, in order so you can have the desired outcome.
Right.
All right. So manipulation and how you go about manipulation. There's a topic from CSEC that is called transposition of the formula, rearranging the formula.
Right.
And that is how the manipulation starts. That is like the beginning of solving equation, from the very simple to the most complex equation. So you manipulate the formula in order to solve a problem. All right, so that's one.
Right.
The other thing too, in regards to critically, you can be, as I said, the critical thinking comes in where you're using up your knowledge from all areas of life, whether vicariously, physically, you
Right.
learn from early elementary, and that's what students tend to underestimate, the ability to use the knowledge that they presently have in order to solve a new problem.
Right.
Students just mainly think that it's a new, they must have something new in front of them. They're not relying on nothing else but
Right.
okay, whatever in front of them in order to solve the problem, and that's not true. And you have to draw on any instance. In real life's case, I remember when COVID hit us in 2020 March, when the whole lockdown began.
Right.
Remember, this online thing wasn't familiar to many of us. Me, I can tell you, I wasn't familiar with it. No, I'm not a government paid teacher.
Right.
I run a private institution.
Right.
I have to think, this new situation that hit me. I have to think and think fast how to solve and resolve the problem in which we want to disseminate the information to the
Right.
students.
Because you have a
The students
constituency
can
that
be-
you need to serve.
There
and
we
then-
go.
Right.
They are at home. They are how to engage them while they're at home, how to have them paying attention and all of that without them leaving the station to do all what they need to do. So I think about how I'm going to do my thing. I create my ground rules. I tell parents, this is how I do this, so this is what we're going to do from now on going forward. And trust me, it work. While many people struggle to manage the online platform, and which we still have today, where students are so much affected, even from that time, the online platform at the beginning.
Yes.
Yes, because but I can tell you, I was able to navigate and hold my student base up to that time.
Yeah, and that is very important. And navigating not only that period, but even as we seek to move forward.
Yeah.
And even using the mathematical formulas to help to
Exactly.
determine how we're going to progress or propel forward is important. One of the things that comes to mind is that even from CXC math, even though you're writing numbers in a sense, that when you get the questions, there are some terms that I realize, Damon, that if you don't understand what the question is asking, then you can easily go down a different path. So, for example, you talk about factorization, things like those. If you see a term that says something like simplify, things that,
Good, they think that because they don't say factorization,
Right.
mean that they're not supposed to factorize.
Right.
It's a simplify. So you simplify. So based on the question in front of you, you have to look at it, assess the situation, and see how you're going to simplify. It's a algebraic fraction, or it is just a regular algebraic expression?
Right.
How do I go about doing this? And sometimes in order to simplify, you may have to add, subtract, multiply, divide, or you simply have to factorize
Right.
in order to simplify.
To get it to that point.
Yes.
Yeah, so thinking it through then is important because you don't want to misinterpret it, what the question is asking.
Yeah.
So what we hear is that approach a question with a kind of a logical mindset or open mindset as well.
Good. So what many of the students do is that, okay, I'm teaching them a new topic. In pure maths, I'm teaching them a new topic. Coordinate geometry, which deal with equation of a circle mainly. Now the truth is it stems from them knowing equation of a straight line coming right up for them reading a CSEC. Now the only thing them does say is equation of a circle
Yes.
and nothing more. You understand me? So they're not looking at the problem, they're not trying to relate, and they're not transferring the knowledge of what they learned from CSEC, what they is already familiar to what is now presently teaching. And many of the things have a lot to do with understanding equation of a straight line back from CXC time. Parallel lines, perpendicular lines, finding midpoint, finding the length of a straight line. All of those things, they're not, for me, it's like they're not, they know it, but they're not transferring the knowledge. So that's why in many cases you see them get A for knowledge, because they have the knowledge,
But when
they
they
don't
do
know how to apply themselves. They don't know how to, structure the algorithm in solving the problem.
Right, and so they have to really, and spend a lot of time practicing is what will help them to get to that point. I remember my teacher when I was in mathematics always told me that, practice, 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 But let's see if we can touch a little bit on the structure now of the paper. Because they need to kind of get this in their minds, even though we're not closer to the external exam.
Yes, but they still need to understand the structure of the exam.
Yeah.
Now, like most of the papers in CSEC, and by the way, additional mathematics is a CSEC subject, not a CAPE, as some may think.
Right.
Yes,
I discovered that recently.
It's still a CSEC subject, right? Now, you have 3 papers. For those who are not doing the SBA, you have paper 1, paper 2, paper 3. Paper 3 is just similar to the SBA component, if you're doing it, the SBA. Now, paper 1 consists of 45 questions. Normally in CSEC, paper 1, you can use calculator. But in ADMAT, you can use a calculator for paper 1. So, and it normally consists of 45 questions. And the value, the total marks, is really 60. Just the same. All right? Which make up 30% of the overall grade of additional mathematics. Paper 2, on the other hand, consists of 6 questions, right? Normally, mark out of 100.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, I don't need to verify that if it's 6 or 7, but I know it's mark out of 100, right? Now they challenge you on your conceptual skill, the algorithm knowledge, and your reasoning ability. They challenge you quite a lot in that.
I don't want you to hold that point. When we come back, we'll pick up on terms of the reasoning knowledge there. This is the A-Team Radio Show. We're going to go to a break. We soon come back.
You illiterate and foolish, you might on a cook, and you not go get no work, and your teeth like a puss.
Guilty, outperform, outlast. Guilty, with top performance. Guilty, Jackama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy electrodes, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today. It's the Area Council 1 meeting at the Pembroke Hall Community Center. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 9:30 p.m. on Monday, October 28 for the special broadcast. See you in St. Andrew Northwestern as we hear from Party Leader Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Dr. the Honorable Nigel Clark, Carl Samuda, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Floyd Green, Anne-Marie Vaz, and others. Stay tuned to hear from Meeting Chairman Deputy Leader Desmond McKenzie. So don't miss Nationwide at 5 on Monday, October 28 from 6 to 9:30 p.m. It's the Area Council 1 meeting. Catch Nationwide at 5 at the Pembroke Hall Community Center or tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the West Kingston Constituency Office.
Me sing, every pressure, you illiterate and foolish. wish you might on a cook. And you not go get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse, I eat you off the choke. If I see them, I hold your red and big tonight. You puke, me look and say, book. When if you pressure on your book, if you're not no education.
Welcome back to the A-Team Radio Show. Tonight we are looking at mathematics. My guest is Damian Chippy, and he is going through with us the syllabus for AdMath, and thus helping us to understand some general concepts. And so just before the break, you were touching on a little bit of as a part of the profile in terms of reason ability. And so let's pick up on that a little bit.
All right. So now the paper, the profiles of the paper are marked in three categories: the conceptual, like the principles, the rules in regards to the knowledge. Good. That's most students would have gained most of the marks in that aspect.
Okay.
Now, in fact, this is the least awarded mark, that part. So even though you get A in that part, it's not really heavy.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I mean, good. So some people say, "Oh, we get A here, and we still get a grade 2," and yes, I mean, no, good. So it depends on which way you get the A. Now, for the arithmetic knowledge, the way how you set out the step-by-step approach that you use to solve the problem.
Right.
That's the heaviest profile marking. All right, that for your paper 2, that's 54 marks.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, I mean, yes, that's actually more than half the total marks at the exam.
Of the exam.
Good. And while the conceptual that I speak of, you only 16 marks out of the 100. So it's 16%. Yes, I mean. Then we talk about the reasoning. Reason is also heavy, but not as heavy as the algorithm knowledge. The reason is 30 marks out of the 100. That's 30% of the total marks of paper 2. Even in the multiple choice, it's in the same sort of order, where you only get 12 marks for the conceptual profile, 30 marks for the arithmetic knowledge, and 18 marks for the reasoning.
So is the reasoning is that how you respond in terms of how you write out the formula?
So let me explain that one now. Now, so the conceptual is the ability to display your knowledge, which many of them display some sort of knowledge base in regards to the exam. And in fact, in most papers, the students generally score good on knowledge. Because them have the knowledge, so you can tell that the teacher teach them the content.
Right.
Now, the reasoning now. The reason is how they're able to use a scenario, what was given to them,
and then
apply their mathematical concept in order to solve the problem.
Right.
Because many of them are very weak in that regard. They find it better if without the scenario, they just give them the problem as they are familiar with.
Right.
And that's it. You understand me? But they give them the scenario, like real case scenario, and ask them to solve the problem. You understand me? So how much you can reason it out to solve the problem.
So they need to spend time in that area then.
Yes. So how I go about with them, number one, first thing you have to read first. You have to read every information given to you.
Yeah.
And don't go about assuming, because many of them, they like to assume because they're used to doing it this particular way in class. Sir, Miss was showing them this way.
Right.
So even before even reading the question, they're just solving it as is, just like that. Now, the truth is they have to read and know, okay, the scenario at hand and what is it that they're asking you.
Yes.
You understand me? In order to solve a problem. In most cases, in order for them to apply, they must understand what is it that they have read.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the challenges.
That's a big challenge in the system, the reasoning aspect. so they don't reason very well. I think it's them. I'm telling you, based on my own, in my own professional capacity in observing these students, it's them as from far back as going to primary school.
Yes. And I wonder though, is it because that they're not being properly exposed, not in the context of socialization, but one of the things that I always hear is that we need to read more. So I'm wondering if it's the lack of not reading more causes them not to be able to.
The truth is,
reason.
While technology had advanced in such a way to assist this generation to be way much advanced and better than the previous generation, it also have its drawback.
Yes.
All right. I mean, here it is that now they're in information age. Let me tell you that they have so much information coming at them.
Mm-hmm.
No, the truth is that these kids, they're so confused and they're overwhelmed. Okay, where do I go? Which one do I? It's like so many information at them, so they are distracted easily. Many of them are using the various platforms not to advance themselves, but more for entertainment purposes. So you see them on the TikTok and the Instagram and the tracking on and those things, YouTube, because entertainment. They're just all for entertainment. But the truth is that in all these entertainment, I must tell you, there are a lot of learning tools and a lot of valid information that they can learn.
Right, I was going to say that too, because as you talk about the advancement of the technology, and in areas such as this, like courses like these, if we don't know that there is a problem with their reasoning ability, but we know that they're heavily latched into the technology, so we now need to find a way how we can, I guess, not to reinvent, but in a sense,
use the technology to assist them.
Right.
Yes.
Put the formula in a song or something. I don't know.
Well,
we'll have some people.
Well, I don't do well in dabbling in writing song now, singing.
But really. Each person have their own style, so I'm sure. Yeah.
But I try to, because I use the technology as well, to assist me with them, to get them engaged. All right. But the truth is, the reality is this, Damon. I mean, that would have been very good from the primary side of things coming up.
Right.
When you have like a 2-year, 1-year preparation time with them for the syllabus, you have to be hitting the nail on the head, really, in terms of what is to be done.
Right.
And that's the thing. So, I mean, although, yes, we can use technology and use other means to aid in learning, but on what? In terms of the percentage of the time, how much we can, which they need that as well, time. That's why it's good for the earlier part. You use that and engage them, show them how to use the technology in front of them to aid them in learning. You have students who you give them research to do, and to use the technology, they have a great difficulty.
Yeah, and we have to try to help them to move past that, beyond that, and really want also to implore the parents that they have a big role to play here.
Nowadays, I don't think the parents. I think the parents are, many of them are losing their way because them just say, okay, may I send them to go to school, so this is it. You understand me?
Yeah, they think that the work just stop right there.
Yeah, they think that the work just stop right there. And guess what? This is from the early stage, of the kid's life, from the elementary part, where they don't feel like they don't have a time to sit down and assist the child with their work. You understand me? And that is so. Parents nowadays, because they don't have a time or whatever, even them caught up with this whole advent of technology too. They pick them about them both work when they want to watch one TikTok video, them find very amusing and interesting. So, them probably just give the pitney a tablet or something and go pay hold this. Just when
to get them off.
off them back, really.
Right.
Because them busy. I watch this latest movie on Netflix and whatever, and then can't bother for. So that's where it is, but they think that they don't have. I mean, many parents, I think, they're not understanding their role in the development of their kids.
Right,
and many times that's where it starts too.
Yeah, and that's what we need to see more of, and it helps when they have a more stable or staple role in the life of their child, But and maybe we need to figure out if that's a mathematical.
It's a mathematical
thing
problem
too, But in terms of the exam itself, you mentioned that there are three papers: paper 1, 2, and 3, and for those persons who are in school, they do. Is it an SBA?
They do an SBA instead of the paper 3.
Yes.
For those in the public school, and you have some private school too, like myself. They do the SBA.
Okay.
So the SBA component is 40 marks, and it is 20% of the overall mark. Because the overall mark in the exam is really 200.
Yes.
And
right, that's actually on the breakdown.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So the SBA and the SBA component focus heavily on the reasoning, because a real case scenario, the whole SBA is about the real case scenario, how you break it down into solving problems.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the things I probably would ask you today, if you could give us a real life problem and say, we can break that down.
Okay.
Into mathematic form when we come back after this break. You're listening to the A-Team Radio Show. We'll be right back after this.
Every pressure who no more, you illiterate and foolish, you might turn a crook, and you not go get no work, and your teeth like a puss. Send me granny with a purse.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on
Nationwide 90 FM. After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
Life skills,
Global Connect,
and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show. Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
It's a showdown of the shows. 6 shows, 1 winner. Who will it be? Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. from Monday, November 4 to Monday, November 11 for the NNN Quiz Competition. Get ready for the ultimate test of knowledge in our thrilling NNN Quiz Competition. Friendships have been transformed into rivalries as our shows compete in the ultimate showdown. With each correct answer, the excitement builds, and with each incorrect one, opportunities are lost. The stakes are high, and the listeners will be on the edge of their seats. The NNN Quiz is back. Tune in between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. during CliffViews Online from Monday, November 4 to Monday, November 11 for the NNN Quiz Competition. Who will emerge victorious on this edition of the NNN Quiz Competition? Find out only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. The NNN Quiz is brought to you by the Student Center, the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment Jade Limited, Wellington Dental, Mark's Superstore, Max Pharmaceutical, Mats Unlimited, and JTA Credit Union.
Me sing, boop, boop, boop. Every pressure who no more, you illiterate and foolish, you might turn a crook, and you now go get no.
Welcome back to the A-Team Radio Show right here on Nationwide at 90 FM. You're listening to the voice of Damon Scarlett. If you're just joining us, we're in the final segment of our show. I have with me in studio this evening Damon Chippy from Chippy tutoring services, and they over there they focus on a wide range of courses, as they also help students with their CSEC and their CAPE exam preparations. Tonight we're focusing on mathematics, AdMath as we say. And, when you talk about terms like probability and stats and algebra and, getting used to terms like factorization and those things, and we were just looking at the component there in terms of the paper. 3 papers that are given. If you're in the high school system, of course, you do 2 papers and the SBA. Some external institutions will also do an SBA as well. And we're learning how one of the challenges that students have is when it comes on to the reasoning aspect of things. So you have the knowledge, but in terms of how you reason that out so that you can get the maximum marks that are possible on the examination paper. And going into the exam with a critical mind, because it does require us to think critically, that is something that we want the students to be mindful of. But I was saying to you that could we just look at an example,
a real case situation.
Right.
All right, so here's a real case situation. All right, so the government is having a bit of challenge to use the scarce resources.
Okay.
In order to put various cameras to Kademwa now go technology now to pick up on plates and issue tickets even when the police is not there presently.
Okay.
Well, I'm just assuming that's the way the government is thinking.
Right.
No, so they want to position these cameras to on certain position in the Kingston and St. Andrew area. They don't have enough to put at every stoplight.
Right.
No, so the government now approach you as a consultant now to ask you, where would we put this? Where could be the best possible place to put this? So you go out there now to collect data. So you go at various places, various stoplights in the Kingston area, right? And you then determine, you do your count and whatever in regards, and you can have them break down in different types of vehicles, cars, sedan, then SUV, then truck, to see how much of them on a daily basis break the stoplight and where are the most common area in breaking the stoplight.
This is an example, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
this is an example. So you do your little investigation by going out there and collect your data.
Right.
And then after you collect these data now, you can then draw a tree diagram to show graphically to the ministry, who is transport again now? Darrell Vaz?
Minister Vaz, yes.
Minister Vaz, to demonstrate to Minister Vaz, the various points where the traffic violation take place, mainly the time span, whether it's noon, morning, evening.
Yes.
So it can give you the peak period, it can give you the point in where it is. So based on his limited resources we have,
right,
he then can now know how to distribute the cameras at the different points in the Kingston and St. Andrew area. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And one of the things in that too, as you mentioned, even going on the road and strategic points, is the whole matter of keen observation.
Yes.
Because you need to be observing keen and be able to pull from what you have seen.
Yes,
to depict that on the diagram.
Good, to put that on, so create a diagram with those data.
Right, right.
So whether it's a line chart, a bar graph, a tree diagram,
right,
box and whisker, all of those type of charts to use to help you to determine, okay, where is the best place possible to put these cameras on. So he now can then focus. I think they would have already done study because they got 100 new buses the other
Right,
day.
recently that was in the
And the
news,
problem
yes.
would have been now, how do they go about distribute, what routes to distribute with the
Well, let's tell the technocrat to come and talk to us. Give them more
100
ideas.
buses. Yes, I mean, so
Right.
so I don't think they just go to them bed and sleep and say, okay, we put 2 there. I
Right.
wouldn't think that's the way they
Right.
do it.
They'd have to have a
Data.
data or calculated approach in terms of how they're going to go about doing that, and looking at the areas that also need the
Yes.
buses the most. You don't want to disseminate them into an area that already has
Good.
enough.
And the topic that fall under is really statistic and probability.
Right.
In regards to
I was
math.
about to mention that too, and you in the section, so in each paper 1, 2, and 3, you'll find at least one of those questions or 2 of those questions in the paper, right? Okay. All right. So in terms of students, so let's just touch on that as before we wrap. In terms of what is the kind of response that they ought to have when they are approaching the paper.
All right. Number one, develop this habit of thinking critically. Yes, I mean, the habit of to draw on old knowledge to help you with the new knowledge presented in front of you in order to solve problems.
Right.
Yes, I mean, develop this habit of transferring knowledge. And I mean, nothing is in isolation. They all sort of connect in some way or form. So the ability to transfer knowledge, also you must have, you must possess that skill as well. All right, and it's not really hard to do. Really,
Right.
is as far as a teacher, I tend to expose them with the transfer of knowledge as well. Now, another thing is, reasoning skills. Now, as I always explain to them, we always have a reasoning skill, but I think we need to break it down to you what we mean by reasoning skill.
Yes.
Now, number one, you read the question thoroughly. Try to understand what the question is, because if you don't understand what the question is, you won't be able to solve the problem effectively. So you try to read and understand the question. Now, as you read, you make your pointers. Don't, try and make your pointers as you go along. Underline what you're supposed to underline, make your jottings where you're supposed to make your jottings, extract the data while reading so you know what to do when you compile into calculate or whatever, where to draw from.
Right.
And all of that. So I normally go on the board and I go through a question and I show them how they extract data while reading. And then when the time comes, so you may or may not be using all the data that you extract from while reading. That's how your reason comes in. So when the time now comes for you now to calculate, where to go to draw from. Yes, I mean, some data you may not use really in regards to what is really asked. You may use all of them, or you may use some of them. Yes, but it's to know where to go.
Yeah.
So oftentimes they read the question, they read it on a whole without making no jottings, no type of reference or nothing. Then they look to the question that is being asked. You see them stuck on them and look at you now, and them look at them.
Yes.
But they don't understand, even though they know the topic, really they have knowledge of the topic. They, them will look at you in puzzle, like, okay, what to do. You can't do nothing because you have never done. You never really done the extraction of data while reading, or you never underlined, you never made no reference or nothing. So where you going to know what to do?
Yeah.
Me even tell them that while doing that, in many cases sometimes you solve a particular problem when they might ask you for, and you don't even know. It's just like when you reach the question what they might ask you for, you say, oh,
yes,
because you know where to draw from, because you have been making you've been extracting your data where necessary. You're making your references. So when you're ready to when they ask you, and when you read the question of what is being asked to do, you know where to go from, to where to draw the data from.
Okay.
And it's not bad. They just need to just practice that as they go along, and it becomes better.
Yes. All right. I'm learning there about how to take the right approach when you go into the examination room as it comes to add math. Now, before we go, I have a probability question. I don't know if it's a question that you can think through or you have to write it out. But here is one. So, if a coin is cast 3 times, what is the probability of getting exactly 2 heads?
All right, so like this now, for AdMats, you draw your tree diagram. So now the coin is being tossed 3 times. And the coin, you have 2 possible outcomes, a head and a tail.
Correct.
Right? So, I mean, when you do your rough work, you know you can get a head and a head and a tail, right? You can get a tail and a head. You can get a tail and a tail. All right? So the probability of getting what? 2...
Right, so of getting exactly 2 heads.
2 heads.
Right.
So now you want to also know what is your sample size. Remember, you know, if it's a coin and you toss it 3 times, what is all the possible outcome there is in tossing that coin 3 times? So now the coin has 2 sides.
As you say, the head and the tail.
Good.
Right.
So now you want to know the possible outcome is 8. Right? The sample size is 8. How you get the 8? 2 possible outcomes from a single coin. Toss it 3 times, so it's 2 raised to the power of 3. That's 8. Right? So now the head and the head and head. I'm sorry, tail is it?
Yes.
Tail is 1 out of the 8. So it's 1/8.
Interesting.
You understand me? So you look at their probabilities, you do it out of the total possible outcome. You understand me? So you have to know what is their all possible outcome.
And for something like that, I think for those persons who can think it out like you, then they would do that.
Yes, writing it down is easier for them to see.
Yes.
You understand me? And so it's much better for them to, when I make visual learners, it's, you know, but I'm just speaking based on familiarity.
Right. So that's a little trick there in terms of how they can approach such a probability question like that, you know. But what we're learning this evening, just in the general concepts and the strategies, and for us to know that for the paper 1, 2, and 3, we need to have the right technique. We're definitely going to have a part 2 in the conversation. And then maybe what you could do the next time when you come is to give us the chart. So we can work around that so that they see the visual of what we're talking about in the context of mathematics. That's where we're going to leave it for this evening. My guest is Damian Chippy. Quickly just tell us where they can get in contact.
They can get in contact with us. They can go on Instagram, Chippy Tutoring Services. Easy to find there. Our numbers 476-2277 or 665-3405.
All right.
But all of those information, go on Instagram and you can find them. And you can ask a question, you can text, you can ask a question, you get a response.
All right, and thank you so much. Until next week, I'm Damon Scarlett. I want to say thank you to our technical operator, Andrew Anderson. Next week, when we come back, we'll do it all over again. Have a great weekend.
You know them expensive and rare, and make sure your uniform clean when you are wear.
Exciting news! The Design Studio